Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Calvary Cafe. I'm Pastor Brian Shear, and with me always is
Pastor Glenn Hurst.
Hey, we've through the summer months, we're giving people an opportunity to come in and talk about their ministries, or just to give a personal testimony. And this morning we have a special guest. I call her special because she's been with us so many years, going on 17 years, I guess. 16 or 17, and her name's Pattie Martin. She's been attending Calvary Chapel all that time, and she's served in various ministries. And Glenn can give a testimony of that.
I serve with Pattie on the worship team. She's been a friend and a source of strength and encouragement to me as we've served the Lord together. She's also in charge of our children's ministry, the little children, and she's just involved in everywhere. And Pattie is no different than any of the rest of us. Her journey has been rocky at times, but she has found victory in Jesus, and she'd like to share that with us today.
And I think the important thing about Pattie's testimony is because she's really close to the Lord, and then she went through a season of distance and trouble, what have you. But it speaks of God's grace, of how He's always wooing us back, and His love for us is just so amazing. And that's what she's going to be giving testimony of today. And I pray that you're blessed by it as I have been.
My name is Pattie Martin. I have been with Calvary Chapel 2008, I think. I don't know. Brian was in Genesis. We were learning about Abraham at the time. I grew up under a religious system. Everything I did, I was going to hell for. Didn't matter what it was. Coming into adulthood with that, having my own children, I just told the Lord one night, I just can't do it. I can't serve you because I'm not good enough. And all that was because I couldn't quit smoking. My church had required that we quit smoking to be a member, and I just couldn't do it. I could not do it. So anyway, fast forward, the Lord brought me to Kennett, Missouri. Originally, I'm from Benton Harbor, Michigan. And that same year, He also brought Brian and Tammy Shear to open a Calvary Chapel. So anyway, I learned what grace was. I learned that, well, I already knew I wasn't perfect, but I did learn that I didn't have to be. So it was a whole new experience with God, one that wasn't condemnation, not that I didn't have that anymore. I still messed up, but I didn't have to beat myself up over it. So I'm going to go a little bit further. This one I think is just as important, if not more important, than coming to know what grace is. I fell back without even realizing. I made what do you call it? I made it okay for a certain sin in my mind. Made an excuse for it. And that brought me, over time, a couple years, 2 or 3 years, took me away from the Lord, took me away from my church, and the people that I loved and that loved me. And though I thought that I was okay, that I was doing where the Lord was leading me to, but it wasn't. when we make sin okay, it does that to us. So anyway, I came to a place that was totally dark. I had lost so much weight because I didn't even really have food to feed myself. Almost lost my house. He actually made provision to where I didn't. I lost everything. Everything. I was even losing family members. And it was then that I realized this can't be where God wants me if he's punishing me. And it wasn't a punishment to, because you left me. It was a child, come back home, and I just wasn't getting it. I'm very stubborn and I have to learn things the hard way. But even through all that, grace was still there. Forgiveness was still there. He was still there. It was me that turned my back on him. So, very scary moment. I don't think I've ever been so terrified, ever been so embarrassed and ashamed. I had to tuck tail and walk back in these church doors. And I kept coming back. Even though I felt like everybody was looking at me, and judging me, and still felt like that, actually for quite a while. They weren't. Some were a little standoffish, because I had hurt them. And I didn't realize that I had caused so much pain until later on. But I guess the whole point I'm trying to come to, I know that there are some that are not completely honest with yourself or with God. I encourage you to get honest. I encourage you to not make sin okay, because it's not. Yes, we're not under the law. Yes, we are under grace. But I tell you what, when you make sin okay, you will walk away from God. You just will. So I encourage you to get honest with God and yourself. Your church family is there to help you and to support you. No one is going to look down on you. We love you. We understand. We've all been there. You just come home, and we will love on you, and we will help you, and there's no place like Calvary Chapel of Kennett. Let me tell you, I know, firsthand experience, I know. So you come home. You come home.